Welcome back to another Golden Hour episode. Today is Friday, May 26th. Hopefully, you guys are having yourself a very good day and preparing yourselves for what is hopefully a beautiful weekend for you guys. So, yesterday's episode we went ahead and discussed, some sports things and also uh, talking about, some childhood stuff. And I look in the comment section and somebody had just said if I can go on ahead and discuss what happened with my baby mother and that whole situation, just really get into detail on what happened, which I of course do not mind doing whatsoever. So this goes back probably 8 9 years ago. Goes back a while. Goes back a while. Back when I was working at Walgreens and I was a cashier. I didn't work my way up to the photo department yet. Didn't work my way up to no. I was the photo department. Excuse me. I was working in the photo department, but I didn't move up the chain just yet. So I was you know just working there. I want to say I believe I was full time at this time, and I was there for quite a bit. I was there for a few years at that point. So really got to know all of the managers, got to know all of the employees that were there, and as you guys know, I am very, very goofball, very big personality, definitely love to joke around and try and, just make fun of any situation and things like that. So, I really like every store I've worked for when I, was working at Walgreens, every new manager and stuff like that would come in, I always got a really, really, really good, friendship with them, very, very good relationship. So one of my managers, his name was Mr. Ortiz, and I got to know him very well. Working together for years, we really started hitting it off with sports. He was a big sports fan, so was I. He was a Mets fan, so was I, and that's how we hit it off. We hit it off starting, talking about sports and stuff like that. So the years go by, and he has his girlfriend, and she has her own two kids. He has his own kids, but he wasn't with them at the time. But him, his girlfriend, and her two kids, they all live together, and I would go over his place like all the time. Like if I had to, if we both closed and worked morning the next day, like if we both got out at 10 o'clock and we were supposed to be back the next day at like 7, 8 a.m. Closing the stores there until obviously it closed, then opening the first one's there. Then I would just go with him to his place, sleep over, and then we'll both head off to work. I spent a lot of time at his place. We were hanging out together a lot. Dude was real cool, and I got to know his family and stuff like that, his girlfriend and things like that. So being around him so much, I got to get to meet his friends and his family, stuff like that. Like we still talk to this day. We're still in the same fantasy baseball league. We actually called me this morning. We're talking fantasy baseball stuff, and so for like Thanksgiving, I go with him to like his mother's house and stuff like that. Like me and him would just real, hit it off, real cool, real cool. And so I got to being one of his best friend. His name was Jermaine, and Jermaine lived not too far away from him, and I went to his place a lot. Ortiz was always over there, and I was with Ortiz a lot. We worked together all the time, so we just head off work, and what you about to do? I ain't about to do nothing, man. You about to go over to Jermaine's house, play some cards, chill. You want to come through? Let's do it. So I head on over there, and through Jermaine, I met their friend. His name was Ryan. Now Ryan was an older guy, and obviously Ortiz was the manager, so he was older than me. So all his friends were older, and Ryan was like older. And Jermaine lived in the second floor. Ryan lived on the third floor. And I had heard that he had a girlfriend, but I never seen her. Like he's like very strict. She like never gets to leave the house. Has her like on a tight leash and stuff like that. and this girl happens to be Elizabeth. And so we fast forward, maybe like, I knew Ryan, but I didn't know him like that. Like, I would see him at like a fantasy football draft. We was in the same leagues. I'd see him there. I'd see him at like when we would go over to Jermaine's house every once in a while. He'll go down. I'll see him, not often. I just passing. What's up? This is my homeboy Nelson. What's going on, Ryan? And then I got to know Jermaine. Because we were there often. Ryan, not so much, but I knew of him. And one day I go to work and there's this girl working there, and her name happens, is Elizabeth. Now, I looking very pretty girl. And I'm just like, yo, who is that? And he's like, oh, that's Ryan's girl. And I'm like, that's Ryan's girl? And it's the first time I've ever seen her. Never seen her at that point. And he's, basically telling me that he got her the job and she's going to be working here part-time and stuff like that. So, oh, okay. That's what's up, man. So, as always, I'd just gone ahead and I didn't think nothing of it, didn't want to cross any type of boundaries or any lines, stuff like that. That's my homie's girl. So, it's whatever. But as time, went along, we would, talk. We would be around each other often and stuff like that. And, we just clicked. Obviously I can easily put a smile on a girl's face, joking around, being goofy how I usually am, and I got the talking to her, and she would just kind of let me know what her situation is and stuff like that. They had a kid, and according to her, them two were like not together. As we get a phone call right here. Actually, let me turn this down so that doesn't interrupt again. She just basically let me know how he treats her, and it wasn't good. She'd come to work, crying, and, because of the stuff that he does, and like, just an all out terrible situation for her. Right. And she just lets me know, like, they're not together, and, she can't wait to get up out of there. They're basically, roommates at this point. Now, at this point in time, my mother, she owns a house, a 3-family house, and my mother lives on the first floor. My grandmother lives on the second, and me and my brother, we occupied the third floor. And so as time go by, she gave me her number, and we would talk and stuff like that. Now, I'm under the impression that them two are just not together. This Ryan dude's a dirtbag. He's treating her very awfully, and both of them are seeing other people. She's like, he's doing his own thing. I don't question, I don't mind, it's whatever. I'm doing my own thing. He already knows, and we just stay out of each other's business, and we're just basically co-parenting until I can go on ahead and move on up out of there. So okay, I respect it and stuff like that. So as time goes on and stuff like that, she really, because I'm a very shy person. Even though I love goofing around, I love being able to just have fun, trying to make people laugh and stuff like that. But when it comes to talking to girls and stuff like that, I'm very, 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 very shy. I've just always been that way. It took me a long time to get over it. But I was very shy, so I never made any type of moves or anything like that. But she was very forthcoming. Always touchy-feely and stuff like that, just advancing a lot of moves. She went ahead, put a lot of pressure on your boy one time. and I really started to like her, as somebody who is, very shy and doesn't go out too often like that. When you start to receive attention from a girl, it's different. It's nice. You go to work and you're there, and you just start talking and hugging and doing stuff like that, and it's nice. You starting, it's just different. You're starting to get some female attention, and it's nice. And so at this time, we're gonna fast forward some. Everything at work with us is it's cool, and she always told me that I need to just go on ahead and make a move, because we would joke around, and I'll tell her all the time, like, I'm gonna marry you one day, like one of these days, I'm gonna marry you one of these days. joking around. She's like, really? I'm gonna hold you to that and stuff like that. So she would always tell me that I need to go on ahead and make the first move, and stop being so scared, and like if I want to kiss, just go on ahead and take it. And at that point, we've never kissed or anything like that. But I remember the first time it ever happened, she was going on ahead and she was gonna punch out, and she's very, very small, very small. I'm 6'1", she's 4'11". She's on the short side, and I remember she's just looking up at me, and I just going for the kill, bam, went for the kiss, and everything was cool. And this girl, she's from the hood, very, very gangsta. We definitely had some similarities, but we had definitely things that were different. Like she wasn't really a drinker, but she smoked weed a lot, pretty much like every day. I never, like, till this day, I literally never even tried it, not even a puff, just not something I'm into. But she smoked and stuff like that. Very aggressive language. I'm definitely more cleaner when it comes to the language and how I speak and things like that. She's just a very rugged attitude. She's a girl from the hood. She'll come up to you, "Oh, my nigga, what are you doing?" She's it's just kind of like opposites attract, kind of. I mean, I'm born and raised in the streets and stuff like that, so I definitely got some qualities from me. There's a little bit of ketchup left in that bottle. I ain't throwing it. I'm putting some water in the bad boy, and I'm shaking it up one time for the culture. So I definitely got some hoodism in me, but not all the way. And she was just all the way hood. She was just a flat out hood rat. And she was, again, very short, but thick. Like, she had a body on her. Like, this girl's ass was, whew, my lord, it was astonishing. Like, people would see this, it's like, it will stop a crowd, and you just have to look at it like, oh my god. Like, it was just, whew, man. Now, at this point, I wasn't a virgin then. At that point, I had already lost my virginity and stuff like that. But so I remember one day, my brother, who's with his fiance now, she lived in Norwalk, and he lived, here. We lived together, and he was like rarely home. He was just rarely home. I just basically had the place to myself, and he, did some things to make some money that we won't get into. He's a hardworking man now, but back then he found other ways to make money. We'll just leave that up to you guys to figure that out. But he wasn't home. He met this girl on Facebook, and he was over there, like, I'm talking damn, like, literally every day. Just, I never seen the guy, and this was maybe like 2 months in the making and stuff like that. One day she calls me crying. This is Elizabeth. She called me crying, saying she had enough, that she can't take it anymore, that she's sick and tired of the disrespect, and she just really wants to leave, and how she just doesn't think that she can go through with it, and it's not a good environment for her son to be in. And her son at the time, I believe, was 2, maybe 3, and she just can't deal with it anymore. So I'm just like, listen, if you're really tired of it, man, why don't you come through here? I have a place. There's different rooms. You can stay in a different room. It's not like, I'm not trying to be forward on my, and push myself up on you like that. So I don't want you to think that I'm trying to, put myself in a good position. But, I'm basically here by myself. If you want to come through, you want to, take your stuff, come here so you can figure things out. You're more than welcome to. So she's like, all right, okay, let me get my stuff together. All right, so we go pick her up. And I wasn't driving at the time. I called one of my homeboys, and he picked us up. He picked me up. We went over there. She had her bags and stuff, came through, and she just bounced on him at Ryan at that point. Now, at this point, like, nobody knows she's with me, right? She just comes through, and she stays over, and we just, what do you expect happened? We was going in. I was rabbit stroking. I was going deep inside. I was going inside them sugar walls, man. And she just basically let me know that she just didn't want to be with him anymore. And, maybe this is something that, her and I can just, build off of and stuff like that. And I'm just basically Captain Save-A-Ho at that point. I felt bad for her. I didn't want her to be in that type of situation, and I know that I'm a very good guy. I'm very respectful. I'm the kind of guy who is, again, raised by a female all my life. So, and that's how I was raised to be. Respect women. I'm the kind of guy you say jump is how high, whatever it is I can do to make you happy. But that's how I was with her. That's how I was with my ex, and just very respectful. Anything I can do, open doors for you, take you shopping. If you want me to do something, I'm not gonna second guess it. If it's something like take the trash out, there's no type of, oh my god, I don't feel like doing. Just all right. You want me to? Okay, I got you. Whatever it is I can do to keep my female partner happy at all times. Anything they said, it gets done. And that's just the type of guy that I am. And so I felt bad for her. So I hear them going, this is back when they had the chirp phone, the little prepaid. She had a little prepaid chirp, and I hear them, going back and forth. You gonna leave me? And stuff like that. She's like, I done found me another nigga that's gonna walk to the end of the moon for me and back, and you're just mad, and yada, yada, yada. Now, at first, he thought that she went to Florida with her mother, because that's where her mother lived. And then it comes to, and then this is the type of sappy guy that I was. Just lets you know, the type of guy that I am when it comes to trying to get this female attention. I had put a phone on for Valentine's Day. I had given her a phone because she didn't have her own phone. She wouldn't let him get one. He wouldn't let her get one. And I wanted to talk to her, when she was out of work and stuff like that. So, I'm gonna get you a phone. However you deal with it, however you tell him about it and stuff like that, I don't know, that's on you. But I'm gonna get you a phone, put it under my name and stuff like that. So I'm going ahead and talk to you and stuff like that. And so when she was gone, Ryan got my number through Ortiz, and he calls me, and he's just like, yo, find out. He's like 6'5". He's a big dude, maybe even 6'6" or something like that. He's like, yo, get Elizabeth's number for me. I'm like, what you mean, man? And he's like, it's under your name, right? You can tell he's just upset. He's under your name, right? Go ahead and get the number. Hit me back. So, all right, man, whatever. So then I tell her, like, yo, he's trying to get, me to give you your number. Because I think she changed it or something like that. I think that, he didn't have her number. And I remember telling her that. She's like, all right, I got this. So she calls him with the Nextel of the number that he did have, and or the Boost. It was the Boost Mobile chirp phone. And they go back and forth. And then he calls me afterwards, pissed off. He was like, why you have her call? Why don't you just give me the number? And I was like, yo, I don't know what was going on. Listen, I just let her know you looking for her, whatever the situation is. And he was just, upset and stuff like that. But then, it's no secret. He ends up coming to find out that me and her were together, that she was staying with me. And at this point, while we were together, out of nowhere she pulls out a ring, right, for me, and she's like, what the hell is that? She's like, it's a ring. What do you think of going downtown and getting married? Like, you're serious? Like, you think you're getting married? And dumbest decision I've ever made. But I'm like, what, let's go for it, man. Because at that point in time, I was just desperate for love. I just wanted to be loved. I just wanted to be with somebody. I wanted somebody there by my side. I wanted to come home from work. And like, I remember back when we had a you have like special talkers that go to your school, and you're in the auditorium, and they'll sit there and talk about whatever it is and stuff like that. So I remember one of those days, we had a guest speaker, and he's going through the audience asking, what is it you want to be when you grow up? I live my what type of life do you want to live? And I raised my hand, and I'm like, I want a successful marriage and a happy family. And everybody else is, I want to be a football player. I want to own my own beauty salon. I want to do this, and I want to be famous. I want to be a singer. I want to be an actress. I want to be a doctor. And I'm just, I remember verbatim, I want to have a happy marriage and a nice family, and that's just what I really, really, really wanted around me. And the opportunity came, and I just jumped the gun very stupidly. And so we went to City Hall, and we ended up getting married just like that. And I come home, and my mother finds out, and of course she's not happy, because this is a very dumb, premature decision, stuff like that. But at the time, I loved the girl, and the body was looking good. She was treating me right sexually, treating me right every way I could ask for. It's different now. I'm coming home. I'm going to work with cooked meals, and I'm coming home to food on the table, and I'm having sex at night, and it's like this is who wouldn't love this. And so very, very dumb decision, but we end up getting married, and her mother loved me, because again, she sees that I'm a gentleman. I'm gonna take care of her daughter. I'm not gonna disrespect her daughter in any way. I'm not going to do anything to hurt her physically or verbally or anything like that. She knows that her daughter can be, leaving the situation that she knew that she was in, coming, with me, and like me and her mother just got along, and we just hit it off really, really, really well, and we always had a great relationship. And her mother is really, really happy that she left her and she's with me and stuff like that. And so we're staying up here, and I had this other friend through the baseball league. His name was Bobby Vincent. Big dude. I'm talking 6'4", 380, like a real big dude. But he was kind of like my life mentor. He always he used to stay out of hotels and stuff like that and get autographs from baseball players, and he got to know like a lot of baseball players. Like he got to know Robbie Cano before he got called up. I actually have on my wall a Jose Reyes autograph from him, because he catches them when they're double A and stuff like that. He'll go to the games and try and get cool with them and try and get them to do autographs, stuff like that, and he'll sell them. And I met him because I used to hook him up too. This was back when I was working overnight, and I would do photos, and I would just look at the machine, and I'll do his order, and I just see baseball players after baseball player after baseball player. I was like, damn, this is crazy. Like, I don't even know these people, but how does he get all these, like, who are all these baseball players? Then one day I seen Jose Reyes, and I freaked out, and I see him and Jose Reyes taking a picture together. Jose Reyes is my favorite baseball player. And I was just like, yo, that's crazy. So I used to hook him up like big time. He used to just order maybe 5 8x10s, and I would just throw in 15, and I just put it in a bag. And next day he'll come get his order. I wouldn't see him because I'd work overnight, and he would just notice that I'm doing a whole bunch of extra pictures for him. And then one day he actually came overnight. He's like, yo, so you be doing my orders? And I was like, yeah. He's like, hey man, listen, I kind of noticed you be hooking me up with some extra pictures, man. Is this something, you want some extra money for yourself, or, like something maybe we can work together with some extra pictures? Like, nah, man, listen, you want some extra pictures, man? I got you. Like, I'm here all day. Don't even worry about it. I ain't paying for it. I'm gonna hook you up. If you want one picture, if you want 20 of them, I got you. So that's how we met, and that's how we started to get along, and we had a very, very, very good relationship. Like, same way I was with Ortiz, I was with him, and I would go to Bobby's grandmother's house. I'd go to his house all the time. I'd take a vacation. We'd go out to Massachusetts to watch the Pawtucket Sox play, and he would get autographs and stuff like that. And that's how we became cool and stuff like that. And but he also knew Ryan, and Bobby would get back to me like, yo, you stupid. How you gonna sit there and get with this girl you gonna marry? Like, one day he called me, and apparently it got back to Ryan that we were supposedly married. And I remember Bobby calling me, and I remember Bobby telling me later on that Ryan was actually on the other side of the phone. Like, yo, call him, man. I just got to hear if they're married or not. So he's like, yo, I heard you got married, man. What's up with that? I was like, yeah, man, we did, man, and stuff like that. So Bobby wasn't really happy with me. And but I remember one day him calling me, him saying, like, yo, this dude Ryan, like, he's not playing around, man. He's telling me that he's thinking about sending some dudes after you, and he's like, whether they do what they want with guns and stuff like that. Now, at that point, I'm taking the bus home because I didn't have a car or anything like that. And he's like, I'm just letting you know, man, like, the situation you got yourself in is crazy. Like, this dude he's gonna do something to you. He's gonna hurt you, and it's not gonna be good. And you're just there. You're like, man, he ain't gonna do nothing to me, man. Like, I'm good. I'm straight and stuff like that. So, but we would also, I remember one time we went out to a baseball game. I forgot where. And at this point, I knew nothing. As far as I knew, I'd go to work. Everybody would be good. She'll be here. and stuff like that. Everything was good. And then he tells me, he's like, she's seeing him, right? I'm like, what are you talking about? Because we have a corner store right up the street from me. And he's like, sometimes she'll just go and, at night and just go to the store and, come back. And he's like, sometimes he'll just be at the store and she'll meet up with him, right? And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, man. Like, she'll just go, those times. I know there's times she goes to the store at night, right? And like, yeah, he'd be at the corner store waiting. And they'd be talking and, all this other stuff. And Ryan even let me know that, that he'll meet up with her when you're at work and stuff like that. And I had, no idea. So, of course, I confront her and it's, oh, these niggas lying, they hating, they just jealous of, yada, yada, yada. They're not trying to see us happy and, all this other stuff. And I remember one day she called me and I'm at work and she's like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm taking all my stuff and I'm leaving. I'm like, leaving for what? There's nothing wrong. Like, there's literally, we don't go through anything. There's no arguments. There's nothing. Like, what are you talking about? You're just going to leave. And I just can't do it anymore. I can't even explain it. I just can't do it. I just got to go. And at this time, we were still, together. I'm working the night shift. And I remember going home and seeing the lights on. And I'm like, okay, she didn't leave. I go upstairs and she's just gone. Just left. Took everything. Even the toilet paper. She took everything. And I just got left a note. I really don't remember what the note said, but it turns out she left. And at this point, she wasn't pregnant. She didn't have it. No, at this point, okay, I'm going to try not to get emotional here. I don't know if I've ever said this because I've went over the relationship with me and my baby mother before, but I don't know how into detail I've really gotten, but at this time she was pregnant with twins. She was actually pregnant, and I got to go to a doctor's appointment with her. I got to hear the heartbeat and everything, and she was pregnant with twins. And I come home and I find a note. And she's just gone. And I just had that feeling of just like, you don't even want to live anymore. You're just like, I never got to that point of being suicidal because I love me some me. But it's just, you just want to get in a fetal position. You just want to cry. And you just want to hope it all goes away and it's not real. Because I love this girl. I'm out here. She's not working. I'm working a minimum wage job. I'm supporting her and, her kid. And I'm trying to do everything it is that I can. And, she's pregnant with twins. And I find out she just leaves. And I'll never forget. I remember texting her like, what the hell is going on? She's like, she doesn't have any money on her phone. So I go to the corner store. I get one of those prepaid cards for the Boost Mobile and I give it to her. So she ends up hitting me back and she's just like that she couldn't do it anymore. Like being real aggressive and being upset at me like it's my fault. And, cursing me out and all this other stuff. And my world was just destroyed. At this point, the woman that I've gotten to love, the woman that I married, it's my wife, just leaves. And I'm just completely heartbroken, man. At this point, I didn't want to do anything. I didn't know how to react. I didn't know how to take it. I didn't know how to handle something like that. And, times move forward. I've dealt with other people, but at that point in time, like her and I, like communication just pretty much stops, right? Like I don't hear from her anymore and I don't do anything, stuff like that. And it's just over with and done with as far as I know. Now, at this point, the marriage is all of 2 months old. I could have gotten it annulled, but I didn't know anything about it then. I was clueless. I didn't know what I could have done and what I couldn't have done. I didn't know. So I'm thinking, man, to get a divorce is going to cost more money than I even have. So I'll just deal with it, whenever. So years go by, and I've dealt with a couple other people, a few other girls and stuff like that, but I never jumped into anything serious, even though me and Naomi started dating, but then her parents wanted me to break up with her because of the fact that I was still legally married and stuff like that. So we break off, and I'm just like, Jesus, even when we're not together, this girl's still ruining my life. But I felt like, my life was just ruined. I married somebody and she just leaves, and all I did was, try to give her everything. And we fast forward time, and I remember back when I was with Naomi, and Naomi parents didn't want her to be with me because I was married. Naomi ends up calling me back, and she's like, you know what, listen, I know my parents don't want me to be with you, but if you show me that you're still, if you're really trying to get the divorce and stuff like that, maybe we can make this work. I just need to see effort of you trying to get this divorce. I'm like, all right, say no more. So I get in contact with her mother, and at this point I haven't talked to Liz in 2 years. I haven't heard from her. Nothing at all. And I contact the mother, and I'm like, I need to get a hold of her. I got to get this divorce. I got to see what's going on. So if you can, have her call me. I need to figure something out, because my girlfriend now pretty much gave me an ultimatum where it's going to be over for us if I can't get this divorce. So Naomi and I, Elizabeth calls me, and at this point she's actually with a female. She got away from Ryan, and she's with another girl, and she's in a lesbian relationship at this point, and them two, they're together and everything, and we can't well, no, they're together and everything. So, this is the first time we talk in years. I'm like, hey, just trying to get in contact with you. See if we can, work out this divorce. Just get all this stuff done out the way, because I really need to get it done and stuff like that. She's, all right, cool. That's what you want to do, and I'm like, yeah, obviously, of course. And then I end up breaking up with Naomi, even though I was really, really, really into her and everything. But it was because it was just a bad situation, because I knew her parents didn't want her to be with me, right? And I just felt bad that, she was just telling me that how she had to hear, her parents and all this stuff, and how they had to, whatchamacallit, hair their mouths, and family members talking about, she's dumb and stuff like that, and that she was tired of just dealing with and hearing everybody's mouth. And, I didn't feel like it was fair for her to go through that. So I ended up breaking up with her. Just like, I can't have you go through that every single day. It's not fair to you, because of my stupidity and my mistake. You got to sit there and hear everybody, and, we have an uphill battle, and it's not fair to you. So I ended up breaking it up with her. And even though I wanted to be with her, but it was just unfair to her. I didn't want her in that situation. Like, I was like, I at the time was so into her and loved her to the point where I felt more comfortable letting her go than being with her, knowing that she was going to be hurting at home every single day, hearing her parents' mouths and stuff like that. I didn't want that for her. So I felt like the best thing to do for her was just to break it off. And we fast forward a little bit. So Liz and I, we got back in contact, because I wanted to get the divorce. And, now we're going back and forth, and, we're talking, and she lets me know that, yeah, I've been done with Ryan, and, I'm with this girl I knew for a while. She's in the Army, and yada, yada, yada. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. So at this point in time, I'm driving, and one day she's like, if you want to come, hang out, well, you can pick me up and stuff like that. Like, all right. So we end up, I end up picking her up from her ex's house, from her girlfriend's house, and we go out. We just went driving around. We end up coming back to my place, and what happens from there. But then we get to talking more, and it's like, at this point we're still married, and she lets me know, like, what, like, I got real scared when you called me about this divorce. Like, I never wanted a divorce from you. I was just hoping that us being married this whole time would bring us back together, because I didn't want our marriage to fail. Like, in the back of my mind, I was just hoping that somehow, some way, this marriage still happening would bring us together. Now, I'm just like, yeah, but you just like left out of nowhere. Like, what was your cause? And this is her story. This is what she said to me. She ends up telling me that she left because he threatened to kill me. That if he was tired of it, this is Ryan I'm talking about. He was tired of it, and if she did not leave, that he was going to kill me, or he would have somebody kill me. And but even that, we'll backtrack a little bit. I remember the first time I seen her. Well, not her, but at this point in time, I'm devastated, right? That she left me again. I felt like my world just came crashing down. Like it was tough to wake up every day. And I remember that I'm at work, and mind you, she's pregnant still at this point. If anybody's wondering what happened with the kids, well, she was pregnant, with twins. And I remember taking my break and going across the street to Burger King. And I remember walking in, and I remember I see Ryan and I see their son. And my heart's beating at this point, right? Because I'm just like, oh my God. Like, I'm just dealing with this devastating breakup. Maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Or, no, it's probably like within a month. It was definitely within a month. Probably like 3 weeks. And I'm just like, all right. I'm just like, oh my God, I don't know if she's here. I'm probably going to have to fight. I don't know what's going on. And their son, Amari, I was with him for, a little while. So he recognized me. He sees me, recognized me. He was on, just standing on his own, and he comes walking towards me. So Ryan picks him up. I have my headphones on. I'm blasting some music. So I just see him, and I just don't pay him any mind. Now, mind you, I'm ready to, if he wants to fight, I'm, ready to go at it. But I'm not going to go on and, start like, where's my wife and yada, 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 whatever. She left, it is what it is, man. Nothing to do about it. Now, at this time, I didn't know why she left. But I remember calling her mother, and I'm just like, I just seen Ryan at Burger King and stuff like that. She's like, oh, okay. And I'll never forget. She goes, he must be getting her food because she's at the hospital. I'm like, getting at the hospital? What's wrong? And she's like, oh, well, she just had, she's at the hospital because she just got rid of the kids. And I'm like, what? Are you telling me that she goes on ahead and gets an abortion, and there was no asking me if there was no there was no if I wanted it, nothing. There was nothing. I mean, I remember when she was pregnant, and I'll never forget, when she came to pick up the last bit of her stuff, I was upstairs, and my mother was there, and she's going downstairs, and she tells her, listen, if you don't want the kids, we'll take them. And she gets an abortion, and I had no idea. And I found out from her mother that day that she got an abortion. And my kids were gone. And anyways, we fast forward, and she's just like, he told me, I couldn't say anything. I couldn't even let you know what the situation was, because we found out, like, Nelson, he was going to send some people after you. And it was, I didn't want that to happen to you. So I had to leave. Now, it is what it is. I take it for what it's worth. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But that's what she decided to tell me the whole situation was. So, months go by, and, we'll keep in contact with her. She's in a relationship and stuff like that, but I'm not really, really in contact with her and stuff like that. But then, after more and more and more months go by, we start, talking a little bit more, and we start being, I start picking her up some more and stuff like that. So then I know, like, Ryan is pretty much out the picture. I don't got nothing to worry about. So maybe we can make this work again. At this point, we're still married. At this point, it's, let's not give up on our marriage. Let's see if we can go on ahead and make this work. So it's like, all right, let's see what it is we can do, man. So we end up getting back together. and we end up moving, getting a place in um, Norwalk. Now she ends up leaving the person she was with, and I should already know, right? This is the second time that she had left me to be with some. It's just signs that I should have known. Like I never told anybody about this, about Naomi and my ex, but because I don't want anybody to judge the person I'm with. But when I first seen Naomi, I told you guys she was in a relationship, and everybody hated him, and I was just like, oh, then I have a shot, and that should just let me know the type of person that they are. Like I was with Elizabeth when she was literally living with Ryan, lying to me that they weren't together, and that they were just pretty much roommates, stuff like that, and whatnot. And that's a clear sign. Like I should have known better. But again, the lust for love is a very powerful thing, and it's like with Naomi, and I never told anybody this. It is actually the first time I'm telling anybody. But she actually called me when she was still in a relationship with her boyfriend then at the time, George. And I should have just known, like, that's not a good sign. I'm not saying Naomi's a good girl. I have nothing but positive things to say about her, but I should have known that she was talking to me while she was still in a relationship with somebody. She's like, yeah, I'm not really happy with him and he's treating me wrong, yada, yada, yada. And I should just know, like, if a girl, even if they're unhappy, they should set themselves away from the relationship, be single, and then move on to talk to somebody. Like Naomi was talking to me when she was in the relationship still with her then boyfriend, and that's wrong. That shouldn't happen, And like if somebody came to me and told me like, yo, this girl, I really like this girl, and she's in a relationship and she's talking to me and she doesn't like him, she's kind of feeling me. It's like that's not a good sign, because if she did that to him, she'll do it to you. And the same way with Elizabeth. If she's able to go on ahead and cheat on him with me, then she could do it to anybody else. And this is where all the cheating and stuff like that gets discovered. So we end up moving to Norwalk, and at this point, all I want is a child. I want a kid so bad. Yeah, she had her own kid, Amari, and that was part of my family. I looked at him as my own, but it's not my son. There isn't that. That connection that you and your own child have. Now, don't get me wrong, you can definitely have a connection with a child that's not yours. The love is there, but it's not that biological connection. And I wanted my own son, and she gets like very, very, very bad condition when if she were to get like pregnant. Like all her doctors advise her, like even after her abortion, like nobody wanted to deal with her. It just got bad. But I really, really, really wanted another kid. So we're working on things. Even when we're talking, like, yo, we get back together. Like, I want a kid. Like, I want my own kid. And she agreed to it. So, we're trying and trying and trying, and it's just not happening. It's not happening. Months go by. We're trying. And then it finally happens. She gets pregnant, and my excitement level is out of this world. All I ever wanted to do was just be a father, have my own kid. And I actually wanted a girl. First, I wanted a healthy child, and knock on wood, bless me that my child was born healthy. Second of all, I wanted a girl. I wanted daddy's little girl, and it's just unfortunate that well, not unfortunate. I got a healthy baby, but I wanted a girl, and I got a boy. But I was still very happy, that my son was born healthy. So from there, she lets me know that her mother is very, very sick, and she wants to move to Florida to be around her mother. And I'm homegrown. I've never been away from my family. I'm very close with my family, and she already knew asking me something like that was going to be an uphill battle, because she knows I don't want to be away from my family. But I thought that was very unselfish. Her mother has like cancer. She's been through chemotherapy and stuff like that, and she has problems, and that would be selfish of me to sit here and be selfish and say no, like this is where we are, this our family's here, yada yada yada. So I'm like, all right, let's do it. Let's move to Florida. Let's head on out there. Let's be closer to your mother and stuff like that. So we move out there to Florida, and at this point in time, I'm a full-time YouTuber. My YouTube career just started to take off, and I was able to quit my job, and I can stay at home and do YouTube. And we end up moving to Florida, and I loved it. The weather was gorgeous. It was 75 degrees in March, and I'm not used to that. It's snowing back home in Connecticut, and we get out there, and I'm just in love with the weather. But her relationship and I, it wasn't really the best, you know. Sexually, there wasn't much going on, and it was just mainly on my end. Um, just communication wasn't the best. It was just a lot of things. But we were together, for the sake of of our kids, and our mother, very happy that we're out there and stuff like that. But then financially, things just go downhill, right? I went from making $2,000 a month from YouTube to then it hit me. Football season's over, views go down, and I went from making 2,000 a month to like 800, and I've only been out there like 3 months. So it's just like, damn, our rent is like 1,100. Like I can't even cover bills. Like what the hell is it we gonna do? So I remember I uploaded a video. Like I had to pawn my computer so we can have enough money to pay rent and stuff like that. And at one point, like we had to move. We couldn't afford it anymore. Like I wasn't expecting for YouTube to just go downhill at that point. And I wasn't expecting like an off season to really affect me like that. I went from 5,000 views a video to about 1,100, and everything just went downhill. So we couldn't afford. We had to move. We just had to move. And when we moved back to Connecticut, we didn't have enough money for us to get a place together. We didn't have any money, none whatsoever. So I came back to stay with my mother, and she had enough for just like we had enough just for like a small studio, right? Where it's just like a one person thing, right? It was just her and Jaden, because her oldest son was staying with her mother. And the plan was, okay, you stay there. I'll come back here with my mother. I will go on ahead and I will just, keep working, and I will see if I get my job back at Walgreens. We'll save up and we'll find a place together. And I called back my manager for me to get my, spot back. Now, mind you, when I left, I worked my way up to basically key holder. It's a spot right underneath assistant manager. And I had worked my way up, and when I got the position, I left like 3 months after. I ended up quitting so I can try YouTube. So I called him. He's like, you're not going to have the same position, which sucks. It took me years to get that position. And I was on my way to being assistant manager, and they make pretty, decent money. And I was just like, it's whatever. I'll go back down to Florida, whatever. I just need a job at this point. And he's like, all right, well, I'll see you, I think, on like Friday. Come in on Friday, whatever. And the day came, and I didn't end up going in. And, she worked at Walgreens before, he knew her and that she had experience, stuff like that. So he ends up, she goes in one day. He's like, where's Nelson? He's supposed to be here. Like, it's busy. I could have hired anybody, but I held the spot for him, and I really need people here. And she ends up getting the job. And that gets me upset, because it's like, who's going to watch Jaden? Now, mind you, at this point, Jaden's very young. And I don't know how to take care of a baby. Like most of it, she dealt with him. Of course I did. I would watch him and do some things with him. But as far as like feeding him, bathing him, she took care of all that. And, she's like, well, I'll just leave him with you. I'll watch him. I was like, I don't even know how am I going to get my videos done if I have a two? Like, it's not like now where I can just tell him, Jaden, I'm going to do a video. Do you mind stepping out and, give me like 15 minutes to myself? He's like, okay, And then, he was, didn't even know how to talk, and, whiny and stuff like that. And I didn't know how to handle it. So now I'm watching him every day, which I loved, obviously, but I couldn't get my work done. So, I'm flipping out. It's like, this is costing us money. I can make more doing YouTube than you can working. So how the hell are we supposed to go on ahead and, get a place together if we're not making any money? Like, I can't do anything with him here. There's nobody to watch him but me. So how am I going to get my videos done? He's constantly in the background, like crying or nagging and stuff like that. And that's just, I'm not going to post videos and stuff like that. So, and she's just like, oh, for the first time I feel independent. I'm able to do my own thing. And, no, I want to keep working, yada, yada, yada. So it's whatever. So at this point, everything is, all right. We're together at this point, trying to save up to get a place together. I remember her mother had called me because she has a sister who has her own kids, and she was like in a very abusive relationship, just a very bad relationship and stuff like that. But she had wanted her kids to see their cousin, which is Jaden, and take him out and stuff like that. So I was like, okay. So me and her get in contact, and we start talking, and her sister just basically just dropped a complete bombshell on me a little later on, and she just basically like, if you guys want things to move to work, then you guys have to go back to Florida. I'm like, why you say that? Like, because she doesn't know anybody out there in Florida. She knows too many people out here. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? She had this one guy, and I would get jealous. Her best friend was a guy. His name was Dwight, and always picking her up and taking her places and stuff like that. And as a man, you should know better, right? But it's like you don't want to enforce, because she already came from somebody telling her she couldn't go outside, she couldn't do anything, she couldn't see anybody, she couldn't go to the store. So it's like I didn't want to put that same type of leash on her. Like she just got out of that. So sorry, that's your best friend. I'll just trust you to think that nothing is going on. But her sister told me that they've been sleeping together for I don't know how long, and that she was just always constantly cheating while we were together, and she knew about it. And this one time, how the conversation started was that apparently one time she wanted to just grab her kids and leave. This is Elizabeth's sister. It was like she was couldn't handle the abuse anymore, and the verbal abuse, and just being treated like a piece of dirt. And she told Elizabeth, like, you know what, I'm just gonna grab the kids tomorrow from school, and I'm just gonna be gone. By the time he gets out of work, everything's gonna be gone, and I'm just gonna get out of here. And Elizabeth goes and tells her man that is what she's doing. So when Sabrina, which is Elizabeth's sister, goes grab the kids, she comes back home to get everything early, and her man is there because Elizabeth told her, and told him. And Sabrina told me she beat the hell out of him. I mean, he beat the hell out of her, put her in the hospital. Now, at this point, she didn't say anything to the cops or anything. She's afraid of DCF and all this other stuff. And then she tells me, that's messed up. You don't do that. Like, all this stuff she tells me, I wouldn't tell you. I was like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? And then she would tell me all of the cheating and all of the lies, and how she would, I would go to work and she would just be sleeping with people, and just a whole bunch of other stuff. And at this point, again, just your heart just drops down to the bottom of your feet, and you're just like, the person you love, the person you're faithful to, the person you're trying to give your all to is giving themselves to somebody else. And I end up, I end up calling her mother, and I'm like, tell me why Sabrina is telling me that she's out here sleeping, that she was having, sleeping with Dwight all the time, and when I'm at work and they will be together, and he was even here, when we had our own place and stuff like that. And I'm just devastated. And her mother told me, like, listen, like, yeah, I love you like a son. I want my daughter to be with you. And I told Elizabeth will tell me these things, and I will always tell her that I would never tell you, but if you ever asked me, I would never lie. So then she starts telling me of all the crazy stuff that was, going on, and all the cheating that she was doing, and all the crazy stuff that she would say. She had told me that she went to Florida before I did. I had to put in my 2 weeks notice, so I stayed here and worked for like a month while she and Jaden went out there to Florida already, and she was with her mother. And once she found the place, I was gonna quit and move out there. So she's out there, and her mother would tell me, she was out here. She would say crazy things, like we would be driving. She's like, she would tell me, sometimes I just feel like I just can't take it. All the kids they screaming, and I just want to kill them. And her mother would go crazy. Like, what are you talking about? You can't think of things like that. And Elizabeth is very just doesn't seem there all the time. It's just crazy. And so I find out of all that stuff from her sister, from her mother. I bring it up to Elizabeth. Of course, she's denying it, saying that her mother really never got along and stuff like that, and how they're just lying and things like that. But I mean, that's just pretty much. I mean, once that happened, then it was just done with. Like, I don't want to see you. I don't want to. Like, everything is over with. It's done. And she actually ends up getting fired from Walgreens, which I had no idea. And she ended up just not having any money, not any place to stay, and she would call me and saying she wants to get back together, she's sorry, all this other stuff, and I'm just like, no, like, you had your opportunities a few times, and I'm just not gonna put myself through it. And that was the last time, we were together, when her mother and her sister ended up telling me that, she was sleeping with Dwight, and how she was sleeping with a lot of people. She was like, you don't know how many times you would go to work, like almost 3 times a week. She would sit there and, she's having sex with all these other people, and every time she's with Dwight, all this other stuff. And I just felt like, it's like, you knew what was going on, but I just didn't want to believe it. I just didn't want to believe that was happening. I didn't want to believe that she was being unfaithful to me. But again, like I said earlier, if she did it to me, if she did it with me to somebody else, she'll do it to me with somebody else. So that was just, this situation I was in. So just a crazy situation. I was blessed that during all this time when we weren't together, when I found out she had cheated and all that stuff, we weren't together, and she had nowhere to really be and stuff like that, that it was like a 2-year window where Jada was with me full time. So when we went to court to try and, battle it out, it was an uphill battle for her. He was primarily with me for the last 3 years. He barely even knew her, so it would have been difficult for him. So I got blessed to go on ahead and win that. But what's crazy is that, my mother had told me, is that when I had told her that Naomi just, called me, just wanted to break up the engagement and stuff like that. And she's like, I never liked her. I never liked her. Like, I knew when we went to Florida, I could tell you did everything that she says, but she just seemed very unappreciative. And your brother seen it, your sister seen it, but we didn't want to tell you because you're in love, you're happy, but we can just tell she's just taking advantage of you, and you would do anything for her, anything. And she just didn't seem, very happy. Like, you bought her a car, you're taking her on vacations, you're doing all these other things, you're working hard at something, and she just doesn't seem appreciative. Like, we seen it, but we didn't want to tell you. She was like, I can tell she didn't love you. She was like, the other one though, even though y'all had some problems, like, I could tell she loved you. And I never heard my mother tell me that she thought Elizabeth loved me. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, man. Again, it's just situations I should have known. Like when we were together. Well, when me and Liz first started talking, she was with somebody talking to me. I should have known better. That's probably not going to end well. When with me and Naomi, she was in a relationship, and we were talking every day on the phone for like 2 weeks before she told me they broke up, and that's a sign. That's just not a good quality that you want your girl to have. And that's just something that I just neglected. But anyways, that's just the whole situation with my ex and things like that. Is just crazy. But things happen. You live and you learn. I now know that, like, I learned things with Elizabeth to handle situations better with Naomi, and I learned things with Naomi. Now mind you, I wasn't perfect. I definitely did some things that I should have done differently. But now I know, going into the next relationship, now I know to change those small things and move forward and things like that. Like, at the end of the day, I'm destined to be loved. And I strongly believe it will happen. I don't know why I have this curse upon my head with being with girls who just, I don't know. I've only been in 2 relationships my entire life. Elizabeth and Naomi. Both of those just turned out, I just not good, not good at all. But I believe, I'll keep my head up high, and one day something will happen. Now I know it has a lot to do, like they say they can handle it. Like Naomi said, she understands what I do, and it's very time consuming. But once it's actually happening, then they really realize how time consuming this is. How I'm waking up early every day, doing videos, editing, streaming, and it's an everyday process. It's 7 days a week. And so I wasn't calling her as much as she would have liked. I wasn't texting her as much as she would have liked. And it's all because I'm invested in this. And I was even doing more because, we had a wedding to, try and save up. And I was the only one, she worked part-time. She wasn't making much. And, so all the financial, it all depended on me. Her parents don't work, was unable to help. My mother not making too much, so we needed $35,000 to get the honeymoon, the wedding, and all that relied on me. And so I was just so busy doing everything that I wasn't calling her as much as she would have liked, and texting and getting back to her and things like that. But now I know the next situation to handle that differently. Explain more so what's going to happen as far as my availability and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, no matter what, I have the greatest thing God has ever given me, which is my son. And as long as he's by my side, whether I never meet another female a day in my life, which I hope doesn't happen, but if it does, at the end of the day, I have my pride and joy, have my son by my side, and that's pretty much all I need at this point. But hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode, man. Leave in the comments any thoughts or opinions. It's your boy GS. I'm gonna go on ahead and be signing out. Peace.